Welcome to the Rancho Kitchen. My name is Chloe. Today we're going to make a very comforting recipe, cream of squash. Now, I really favor this recipe in the fall when it starts to be a little bit cold, and it's a very comforting soup that you can make. Now, the cream that's in the cream of squash is actually cashew cream. Cashew cream is something that we use a lot in the Rancho Kitchen. Basically just water and soaked up cashews mixed up. Then it makes this really thick cream that looks a little bit like yogurt. You can use it as anything you would use cream in. For this recipe, you will need a squash. This time I used an acorn squash, roasted it in the oven with olive oil until soft. But you can use any kind of squash if you want. Butternut is really tasty as well. We're using 3/4 cup of cashew, 1 onion, 2 potatoes. To fry everything, you're gonna need coconut oil. I use 2 tablespoons here. And I'm using a concentrate of vegetable broth here, but you could use beef broth, chicken broth, or any kind. We just decided that today we'd do an all-vegan recipe. Towards the end, I like to add to this recipe some turmeric and some garlic, a little bit of garlic. When the soup is completely done, then I will add my 2 favorite ingredients to spike up everything, a lemon and olive oil. What I've taken is 3/4 cups of raw cashews, and I put them in warm water for 3 hours, and that's how they become. I use an immersion blender because I'm going to use the same thing in the pot later on, but you can do that in a regular blender. Soaked cashews are really nice and soft. When you mix them, it makes this really nice silky texture. And the nutrition in the nut is actually way more available for your body to process this way. I would like to show you how mushy and creamy they become. I have one here that is raw, not soaked, and the other one here that is so smushy. I mixed it until we have this kind of creamy texture that is a little bit, there's quite a bit of water in here, so it's more like a milky yogurt, but that's what we want for a soup. If you want something thicker, you just put less water. And I'm gonna put this aside until all my other ingredients are cooked, and I will add it towards the end. I start by frying the onion in the pan. And once it's nice and cooked, I will add the potatoes and the broth. I'm gonna use for this half of the coconut oil, so 1 tablespoon. Now I'm gonna add the potatoes, heat them up just a little bit before I add the broth. Because I'm using concentrate, I start with just 2 cups of water. I'll add my concentrate now, and then I'll complete with another 2 cups, so I have a total of 4 cups of broth. Now our potatoes are nice and soft. I cut my garlic in little chunks here. The only thing I want to do with this is heat it up a little bit to bring the flavor of the garlic up. I'm putting it into the last of the coconut oil that we kept earlier, waiting for it to look like it's bubbling a tiny bit. And then I'm going to add the turmeric. I think it's ready. Starting to smell a little bit toasty here. So this can go directly in the soup. Stir it in. And now we're going to add our squash. We're going to add the cashew cream here. See how creamy it is. And the magic happens when we mix everything. Salt and pepper. You can add that at this point to your liking, but what we're really waiting for is the secret ingredients, olive oil and lemon juice. I find it always brings to my soup something a little bit livelier. As a general rule, I put it in every soup I make. There. Mix it in, and we're ready to serve. So here we are, comforting cream of squash, crème de portiron.